Who wants to be a millennial millionaire, right? You remember that game show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Well, friends, today's video is all dedicated towards teaching you 10 core basic principles in real estate that can help you go from nothing to making millions of dollars. I get that when people watch these videos that you might be sitting there thinking, Kris, I love learning from you, but dude, sometimes you go freaking right over my head. Can you get it down to a principle-based level? Well, because of that feedback, I've decided to shoot this video and to give you 10 core principles that if you can understand and wrap your head around, you can leverage it to make insane amounts of money. And that's what we're gonna do today. This principle is all about buying the right kind of real estate. So write this down. Number one is I want you to buy real estate under the median. If you can make your money from a house that is priced under $200,000, you're going to have a significantly higher degree of safety than if you're trying to make money on houses worth $500,000 or $800,000. Underneath the median is what Warren Buffett called a safety margin. He says, in fact, if you buy low, sell high, if you can buy homes at a discount that are beneath the median, then whether the market goes up or down, you're going to find that you are in a place of safety. So that's rule number one with making millions in real estate is you want to buy single family below the median. The next principle is called the principle of risk. And what I mean by that is you need to confirm that you actually have buried treasure in that property. You cannot, the days are over of I'm just going to buy a house to say that I'm an investor. We are buying it under the median. It's a single family home. Now you need to confirm that you have equity or that you have ROI. And you do that by performing a comparable market analysis. This is basically getting a realtor or my prop stream system, if you've seen that video, to confirm that you actually have the equity that you think you do on the property. So for example, the house is worth $200,000. I'm buying it for $170,000 and I have confirmed I have $30,000 of equity. What that does is it ensures that you do not have unnecessary risk. Safety is buying the right home in the right price range. Risk means making sure that you have enough equity that if something bad were to happen to the property, you're protected. Okay, the next principle is called the principle of cash flow. What's going to protect you in your investment is to make sure that you have a significant source of cash flow. What you're really looking for is a cash cow. We might have been looking for equity like my net worth just increased or I've got great ROI, but I want a part of that to be cash flow. So for example, if you're using my system and you're using compassionate financing, my lease option system where you're buying a home that has a $500 a month cash flow, that is a cash cow. A single family home purchased under the median with equity, producing that level of cash flow is a principle that's going to help skyrocket your success. Next, we have the principle of responsibility. My mom always said, Kris, you cannot spell, but you can sell. The principle of responsibility ultimately says that you need to make sure you're a good steward of this property. You need to have a strategy. You have this home with equity, you've got great cash flow, now what are you doing? Like for me, I use my lease option system and the purpose of that is to have the property self-managed. Meaning there's a family in that home that says, we're gonna buy this home and we're gonna make it ours. And so they're managing it, they're maintaining it. It means that I'm taking on a dual level of responsibility. I'll make sure worst case scenario the property's taken care of, but I put someone in the home that without any pay will do the exact same thing. Okay, next we've got the principle of odds. If you want the odds in your favor, you need to understand that real estate is a numbers game. And it is incredible when you think of how many people will watch this video and say, you can't find a home with equity. You can't find a home with cash flow like that. Read the comments. This guy's bogus. This guy just wants your money. He just wants you to buy a course. Dude, you're gonna see all of that. But because those people exist, guess what? People like you and I get to go out there and freaking slay it in this game of real estate. So understand that real estate is a numbers game and you might have to comb through 10 deals to find one that you make 50 grand on. Would that be worth it to you? Would you be willing to look into 10 deals to find one that you could make 50 grand on? If the answer is yes, then technically each deal is not worth 50 grand, it's worth 5 grand because there's 10 of them. 50 grand divided by 10 tries, that's $5,000 a try. So by the way, when I look at a house and it doesn't work out, I'm like, I just put $5,000 in my bank account. It feels really good. So principle of odds says when everyone else is bowing out, choosing out, not showing up, telling you that you can't do it, that it's not going to work, just I want you to do what I do. It's like the Grinch going from this to It's like that really big, crazy, cheesy smile that just keeps on going, because I need non-believers. I need people to say this stuff is phony and this stuff can't work. I need them to challenge it, because that's why it'll always exist. There will always be a balance in the force between positive and negative. And you need to make sure you are on the good side. Principle number 6. This is the principle of action. Now listen, this might be one of the most important. If you yourself want to use this to go from nothing to millions, I'm breaking down for you the 10 core principles. And one of the most important is that when you find a deal and all the numbers add up, then there's the really scary part for the beginner that says, gulp, you gotta pounce. You gotta leap, you gotta jump on that, you gotta get in there. It's amazing how many people will just get scared stiff and just wait and do nothing. I get that it's a risk, but you know what? If you don't take the shot, if you don't take the risk, you're gonna get nothing in life. Taking no risk guarantees that you're gonna fail. In fact, you want to take risks. But what we're talking about here is a calculated risk. I can't promise it's gonna work out, because it might not, but it's better to try than not. Okay, so the next principle is called the principle of profit. And what I mean by this is, for you to make money on the deal, you have to become a really good negotiator. I'm going to share with you a style that I use in negotiating real estate. I don't play games. In fact, I have people pay a lot of money just to learn this from me. So I'm just going to teach it to you real quick. It's a little side bonus. Is that okay? When I want something, I just have to know the right price that I need to get it for to win. I am not waiting for the best deal, guys. Don't hang out for the perfect deal. It's a myth. You're hanging out for a really good deal that will work. And I've got standards, and my standards is I want a 20% ROI. So if I have a deal that has a 19% ROI and I know that I want 20, I'm not going to ask for 25. I'm not going to ask for 30. And I'm also not going to settle. I have my breaking point and I draw that line. So I skip all of the games and I will just actually call up the person and just say, this is what I want. Does that work? And what we're going to do is we're going to do it as verbal as much as possible instead of in writing and paperwork, because what it does is it saves time. You got to be wicked fast to secure a great profit. Don't mess around playing games, because you can go back and forth all week long. This price, that price, this price, that. Someone else just snagged it out from under you because you were focused on the wrong thing. You found a good deal. Say what you want, son, and get that thing or get out. This next principle is called the principle of condition. And for principle 8, what I mean by that is that when you have this property now, you got to make sure that you upkeep it to the proper standard, to the proper level. There's a lot of people that will spend way too much money on a property, or fix things that they shouldn't, or they deny certain things that they actually should. The principle of condition that I break out in my entire program when we work together is making sure that you're really just doing the right amount of work on the property. If you want to know what the right amount is, look for projects that have sold in the area and ask, how much did they fix the house up to? Because you might be dropping in gold-plated toilets and granite countertops, and you might be doing above and beyond when really the neighborhood's just a Formica neighborhood. Dude, Formica, that's it. We need linoleum. We're not doing tile. So you don't want to put more into the property. And on that same token, when I do my lease option system, I actually leave it up to my tenants to actually be in charge of a lot of that stuff. So I actually don't take on any unnecessary financial burden. It's actually part of the system, is I pass it on to them and I give them credit for that, and I give them a big bonus for doing those things. So principal condition means when you're rocking out your real estate, only put the right amount into it. Okay, the 9th principle that I want you to understand when you're considering anything in real estate, but my system, it's all around the principle of optimization. And optimization basically says least time, least effort, least risk, most money. A lot of people know how to mistake movement for achievement. They know how to play the busy game and be busy all day long. But the reality is you need to learn how to value your time so that you're using it and spending it appropriately. If you're doing a real estate strategy that's taking way too much effort and way too much time, you're doing the wrong deal. You're doing the wrong thing. Now we're almost done because I got a 10th one, but the reason why I'm teaching you these principles is because I have 3 different ways of making monumental amounts of money in real estate, and all 3 of those systems adhere to these 10 principles. So if you really understand the nugget of what's behind them, it's going to help you be way more successful as an investor. The 10th principle is based on what Albert Einstein called the most important financial instrument, which is compound interest. When you do your real estate, you need to keep it in real estate and you need to magnify it. If you and I were sitting down at the table and playing my favorite board game, Monopoly, here's what would happen. I would be trading 2 greens for 4 greens. I'd be trading greens for red hotels. I'm always going to be trading less for more. And my goal is to double everything. So one of the ways that I win in the game of real estate is that if I'm making 25% a year on my money, in 5 years when I've more than doubled my money and I sell my project, I'm going to take my winnings and I'm going to put it back into real estate and now do 2 properties when before I had 1. Guess what I'm going to do later with those 2 properties? I'm going to take them and I'm going to turn them into 4 and 4 to 8 and 8 to 16. Compound interest will allow you to grow your wealth and to continue growing in amazing financial ways. Friend, these 10 principles of safety, risk, cash flow, responsibility, playing the odds, action, profit, condition, optimizing, compound interest. These are the 10 principles that I use in all of my real estate. It's principle based because if it is, it'll protect your time, your effort, your energy, and your money. And so friends, I know that was a lot. It was hard hitting, but I hope you'll take these principles and go freaking run with it. Go crush it in the game of real estate. Now, if you're asking yourself, Kris, this is all great. Some of this went over my head. I'm glad that you broke that down. How do I implement this? Dude, you know that I've got a team on standby. If you got money, I got excess deals. And if you got no money, I can get you into a club that will actually teach you how to go out there and do deals. You just need to click the link in the description below, get with me and my team. Let's figure out the best way for you to play and help you take action on these principles, crushing it in real estate today. We'll see you on the next video.